Well, I've gotten this far in 1 week. It's been a lot. It really has. But it's been really fun. Seat is got a little kickback kit in there, so it leans back a little further. A little more comfort for the people that ride in the rear. Body line's pretty good. You can see the panel that I added. You know, it's got maybe a 1/16 poking out right there. You just adjust the door more level. It's real close though. Man, whenever you look at this kind of thing, it makes you cringe so bad. I got this ground down, all smooth and round. Can't even see where it was welded. You know, after you paint it anyway, it'll be real close to where you couldn't tell. But after I did, you'll see why I made these lines right here. Let's see. You might can barely see it, but if you follow that line right there, and then you hit right there, you'll notice it kind of just boop, kind of drops down. And it's not because the whole thing's leaning. That's all perfect. You can see by the door line right there, which is groovy like it should be. What it is, now it gives that appearance, but what it is, when I welded this panel here, this sheet that I made, it must have had just a slight drop down right there. So what I have to do is cut, looks like close to 1 inch 3/4, probably more 3/4, and just cut that section and make this part right here meet to there, and then re-weld and regrind. But I caught this error before I did the other side. So the other side is pretty much true. It's really close, if not it. You can probably see what I'm talking about. It's really close. I would rather, you know, even a slight slope up. Like this one, you can probably see it does have maybe I don't know, it's real close. It's real close. My eyes are trying to pick this thing apart while I'm building it. But, I mean, there's little imperfections, you know, stuff like this. Just little weld spots and things. But, I mean, use a little bit of body filler or something like that. I try not to ever use body filler. I'm not a fan of it. This is more of what I like to see, where it's just steel. But, you know, sometimes you just got to. What I did over there is I didn't butt weld that front panel that I extended out from these donor fenders here. I didn't butt weld it, so I overlapped over there, which is way easier to weld because it's just so thin. But over here I did butt weld. But if you run your finger like I'm doing right now, you can actually feel a little bitty ripple. You may not can see it very well with it being kind of a flat black, but it's going to be a flat military tan look with black detail. So any kind of super imperfection that, maybe what I mean by super, I mean like super small imperfection, if there is any, that really pop. Because I know they're there. I hand built this, so you know what I mean. There's gonna be. I'm not perfection for sure, but any of those imperfections will be hidden by a flat color. So that'll roll really well. And being that I'm not, you know, a mega perfectionist with that kind of thing, I'm fine with that. You know, I do that with military Jeeps all the time. Jeeps I build and, you know, restore. And they have flat paint, so it's just a little bit easier and more friendly to build. I would hate to build some fancy car or anything, because it would probably make me just pull my hair out. There's the Cummins. And surprisingly, let me see if I can do this with two hands here. The engine compartment has plenty of room. Now, that fan blade is coming off of there. It's going to have an electric fan. So, delete that fan blade and then look at what kind of space we have here. Which is, I know it's hard to tell probably by phone, but that's a lot of space. I'm not even going to have to really do anything to change the water pump or anything. It's just take the belt off and unscrew a couple bolts. It'll be real easy. And then for the valve cover, it's wide open right there. The back one that I'm talking about. It's pretty crazy. It will have those AC lines that are coming out of that little, you see in the very center of the screen there. It'll have those coming out slightly above it. I'm going to try to tweak them over to the side without cracking the line. But it's probably going to have that. So I'm kind of wondering how the back valve cover is going to clear that to remove it and adjust tappets in the future without having to like disconnect all the AC and redo all the AC. But when I say disconnect AC, I mean disconnect that line right there that connects that aluminum block, you know, and reconnect it where I'd have to recharge it and all that every time. This brake booster is coming out. It's gonna have the regular old Hydro Boost from the Dodge over there, which is in good shape. Nothing leaked or anything like that before. I literally was daily driving it a week ago. And then the electrical looks daunting, I know. It looks crazy. But most of what you see here, other than this harness right here, most of what you see here that's snaking all over the top of the motor is just Dodge harness. And I don't intend to actually use any of this harness except for the wire ends that connect into the sensors, which there's like 3 or 4 sensors that I'm really worried about. So I just unplugged it all just because it was real quick and easy to throw it all on top of the motor and pull the cab off. So once I pull all that stuff and just clip the few sensor ends I need, that's just gonna go lay on the ground over there and get out of the way. And then the Jeep sensors that you see that are also laying around in here, actually they would be on this big plug right here. I got those over there on the ground. Those are gonna plug back up, and I'm gonna figure out which sensors are the temp sensors and things like that. And I got a chart that tells me color codes and all that, and just wire them together, and hopefully we'll have actually a good read. Now for the engine's very basic. It uses almost no electronics. It's almost completely mechanical. Actually, it is pretty much completely mechanical. But anyway, that being said, you do have to have a starter wire if you don't want to have to push start it. And I definitely don't want that. So you do have to have a start wire. And what I mean for that is a solenoid wire. And then you need a big battery cable wire, which I'll rob from the Dodge harness. And I'm going to try to run just a single battery. I've heard of people doing that. The earlier 12-valve trucks that were like the D250s and all that stuff from the 80s and 90s, early 90s, they ran a single battery from what I read, if I'm not wrong there. And that being said, it should be fine. I just need to get a real heavy cranking amp battery.